Hello and welcome to the mill. I am your host, Dusty Crane, and this week I thought we would take a look at BoardGameArena.com along with their implementation of Viticulture that just went into beta. So, if you have never been to BoardGameArena.com, let me show you a little bit here. This is basically the landing place. I have some of my identifying information blurred out, but we're going to go ahead and if you were to check this out, you'd go to games and it will bring up a list of games here, and you can see based on games I like, these are some of the things that it recommends. I don't know how good it is, but then again, um, my gameplay has kind of been a little bit limited, so that's neither here nor there. But we see right here Viticulture Beta, and the information right there, 2 to 6 players. It's going to take about 72 minutes. It's about a 3 of 5 complexity. There's a how to play video. I'm sure that links you right there to Rodney, and download the rule book. But you can also see games in action. And so I was thinking of maybe, playing back a little preview or playing back a replay of a game I played, but we might be able to. I don't know if I want to jump into someone else's game. Forget I said it. It would kind of probably be rude to put someone else's stuff out on display. So let's go ahead and look at that replay. I did talk to my friends and ask permission. So let me bring that up. So this here is a game that we started back in April, and it took us 35 days because what we did is we just played a turn-based game, which just meant as we had time, we went ahead and played a game. Now, obviously, I chose this one because I won the game, and quite an impressive score. Sorry, Ryan. Ryan here, he really thought he had it, and I thought he had it too, but we'll look at what kind of happened to make that do what it did. So let's go ahead. What's real cool about Board Game Arena is I'll hit replay game here and I'll choose me. I can actually see the game from anyone else's eyes, how they played the game, the choices they made. I mean, we'll see it to an extent, but I can actually see their hand if I choose their point of view. Now, this is only after games have wrapped, so it's not any kind of advantage while you're playing, but we'll choose me. Board Game Arena is going to start at the very beginning. Now, there is a game log that runs, and you can see here that some of our colors were already chosen. This is a perk of being a paid subscriber. But you can see the mamas and the papas that were chosen: Laura Cozy, Deanne Morton, Nietzsche, and Josh. And I'm going to end up choosing Elena and Christian. And Charles here is going to choose Tereo and Andrew. So what's kind of cool, we can say, the next move. In the normal circumstances, these are the prompts you'd be given. So I was just told to choose my mamas and my papas, and I did. And so it went ahead and gave me my resources. I can scroll down here and see that, this is what happened, in terms of I chose Elena and Christian, and I get, my options here. So because I chose Christian, I have an option of irrigation or 3 coins, which I went ahead and went with irrigation. And these are just the things you get for Mama Elena. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the next move here. And you're going to see I picked the irrigation. You saw my little irrigation pop onto the game mat here, the game board. And then we can see that everyone else, chose their things. And over here, this is the running game log that you would see during the game. So this down here is not going to be present if you're playing a game fresh. Again, I'm kind of talking to you like you're unfamiliar. So I apologize if you're very familiar, but so we can see kind of what everyone else did. This is what you would see during the game. You'd see I drew, a wine, summer visitor. These are the benefits of the mamas and the papas. I built irrigation. We have my friend here that built a cottage, and another one who chose some additional money. And we can see that with, my starting hand, these are what I got. I got Trebbiano grapes, got the blacksmith card, and a wine order. Now, I do like that you can hover over this, and in fact, it's also really well, it plays really well on mobile devices. A little bit harder on phone screens, but I played on an iPad, and for the most part, it was pretty good. Sometimes getting it to do this hover action is a little difficult mobile, but totally playable that way. And we'll just go ahead and continue on. So I had to choose a wake up row, and you can see before I get into the wake up rows, you can see that, the other people that built buildings, we have a trellis here. This game mat still has all theirs. Looks like everything here, and the same with this one. They actually got a medium seller down here. Ryan got a medium seller. I swear I have about 3 minutes of voice before my voice goes to HE double hockey sticks. And I don't know why that is, but it has been the case. Now, just reviewing here now, this is information that's readily available during the game. You can see the mamas and papas that were chosen, and highlighting over, you can see what the benefits are. So you can also take a look at like the people around the table, what they got going on. Now, obviously, I can't see what their cards are, which is the way it is in the game too. I can see, what cards they have in terms of, we got a couple of vines and a winter visitor. Over here we got a couple of wine orders in a vine. And over on these cards, the same deal. You can hover over and see what they have, but not what those cards are. So not unlike sitting across the table. Now, I've been asked, it says you must choose a wake up row. And so these are my options. So what's nice is you got these little hover over options to kind of tell you, what your bonus would be where you chose to wake up. And I chose the wine order because I was hoping to get a red wine. I traditionally like to try and get a mix of red and white. I think that makes sense if I'm going to, use fulfill wine orders, right? Makes sense. We're going to go through some of these other turns, which is real nice. You can see everyone's choosing their wake up row and what their bonuses are. And remember too, this was something that took place over the course of, what I say, 30 some days. Wild. In any case, in this case, this would be my first turn. This one right here would be, aside from choosing my wake up row, where do I want to place it? And because we're playing a 5-player game, you can see we have all of these spots open, and the bonuses here. So we could draw a wine card, or if we're the first one there, we want to put our worker there. In this case, I was the first person awake, so I get to choose, where do I want to play this? So I have to play a worker, and I ended up choosing the sell at least one grape and buy one field. And you can see here I sold my 5 lira field, and you can see this here too over here in the game log here that's running. I sell a field for one, or sell one, my first field for 5 lira, and I get a victory point because I played it there in the bonus. Now Ryan is going to play his, and he's going to build a structure, and we're just going to go through the other workers, and Jamie placed theirs, Charles places his, and that was the turn. And I am back at my turn, and I'm not going to explain each step here. I just kind of wanted to go over. You can see that on my turn I planted a vine here over in my 7, and again I can hover over and see, and at any point we can kind of go see we already have a wine in the field here, and we got irrigation built over here. And again, you can watch it over here, you can take a look at the mats, or if you just play basically your own game in a bubble, that's fine too. However you enjoy playing the game there. You can see I'm just going to go ahead and start clicking next, and you're going to see, okay, so we got our first movement over here they passed into the winter season, or fall, I guess. They're basically passing out of summer. So you can see up here we're in the first year, season summer, all the information that's on the screen, and I'll just click through here. You can see you know, people planting in the fields. We got people passing into the next season. And now everyone has, and I'm now given the question, I have to draw a summer or winter visitor card. And I'll go ahead and keep clicking forward. And we're just going to keep clicking and see what we get here. And, we're just going to keep going. You can see, oh, we've reached a new season. Charles is or new year. We're into year 2. The pieces keep going because I'm just hitting advance. But, let's say, what I really like about Board Game Arena and their implementations are that if I'm playing with someone who is just fantastic, or even if I lose or even if I win, and I go, how did I do it? Like, what is different in this game than what I did in the last game? It's very easy for me to look at the gameplay log to see who did what, to go here, and I can go through the entire game by, scrolling through here. And just grab this and drag all the way to the bottom. You can see here too, like when we're playing through here, that right now I'm on move 52, and I can scroll all the way down to the bottom, and move 324 sounds crazy, but when you see how a move is filling an order, etc., etc., I just really like the idea that I can like pop behind the camera of someone else's computer after the fact, after the game is over, and replay it and see what they did that worked so well. And this is particularly cool, in my opinion, if you play with the same people regularly. And let's say, I always play this with Jen, and she just always dominates. How do I, like, let me see what she's doing on the regular so that I can, have a better game myself. So just one of the things I really like. I think this is a good implementation of viticulture. I'm looking forward to hopefully they go out of beta and they add, Tuscany and, hey, the new expansion that's coming. That would be cool. But I like this ability, and this also kind of gives you an idea of what it's like to play the game. And I will just keep, kind of clicking through here. I'll just click go to the game end, and this thing's just going to go, and I'll just talk while it's doing it. You can see that if you wanted to just play through, just rush it through to kind of get to a certain spot or whatever the deal is, you can. If you have the ability to watch this thing just fly by and learn something from it, well, good for you, I guess. But just the presentation itself, I think it does a good job. I think it does a good job of presenting the player mats. I think it does a good job of presenting the game board. We can see the score track here. We can see, the assistant here. We can hover over cards and get an idea, of what those are, what those do for you. And again, I think they did a really good job. We're what are we here? Year 4 at this point. I think this game goes 7 years. Right now, I'm currently in the lead with 5 points. And Ryan, we kind of poked fun at him a little bit for moving backwards. He started the game moving backwards, and we did a little bit of, in the chat room trash talk, and we're like, hey Ryan, you're moving the wrong direction. But you'll see he has an epic comeback. He would happily tell you that if you figured how many moves he made forward, he won the game. In this case, I actually win the game. You see, I just made a big jump here. There's, we still have, we still got out here at 12 points moving forward. And at the end of the game, we'll see it, but at the end of the game, somebody leaves this bonus winner visitor card open, or this spot open, this bonus spot, and it ends up costing them. Sorry, you probably get some fan noise right now because my laptop is deciding to melt, I guess. I'm not sure what's going on, but that is what it is. So yeah, you can see we're here into year 7, and we've got quite a few players that are, I mean, right there around that 15 point mark, and it's we see Ryan got to 21st and left this bonus spot open. I jumped on it and was able to just launch ahead right off the board. You see there, um, and you can see at the end of the game there were three of us. Um, Over that 20 point mark. I did not fare anywhere near as well the next game, but you can see the end of the game I won. You know, we could go back and oh, I just hit back to the first move, so it's going to reload. Um, but you know, you can go back, take a look. Well, I wish I could have showed you the board states, I guess, but you get the idea. Another thing that's nice here about the board game arena is this notepad. These are personal notes you can keep for yourself, and no one else can see them. So if you're playing a turn-based game where you are not sitting there, you know, just at the entire time, sometimes it's easy to forget, you know, what you were thinking. Oh, I'm going to play this card and then I'm going to play this card. But once we got into the late, and I don't typically use this either, but once we got into the late game, I was like, okay, I got three workers. And so I was like, on turn one, if it's available, I'm going to, you know, play Winter Visitor. And then, you know, then maybe the second one, Wine Order. And, you know, I might say it's the 6 point order or whatever the case. And so what's cool is I have these notes available to me. No one else can see them, but it just helps you remember what's going on. I have the audio turned off. I don't think, yeah, there's not like a soundtrack, but one of the cool things is you do have this music tab here, and the ambient music is presented by Melodice, and you can see that you know, they got some Tuscany, got some music. You can cache it up and take a look, listen, you know, while you're playing the game. If you want some Italian music, it's right there. So I hope this was helpful or interesting, or if you were just curious about the board game arena implementation, I think it does a really good job. I really enjoy the platform. Um, you know what? I think this also has like a, yeah, there's a 3D mode. I don't like it quite as much. I think it's neat that it's there, you know, that you can, you know, kind of see that stuff in 3D, maybe as if you were sitting across the board, but I don't use this feature at all very often. But it's cool that it's there. You know, we can adjust what we see and we can zoom in and zoom out. But yeah, so hopefully this was kind of, looks like we got our, our stuff going off at an angle. I do think that this is kind of a, the 3D mode is a little bit, yeah, no, I've worked this up. That's kind of cool. But there, it lined everything back up again. But anyway, that is what I have for you this week. Just a quick look at Board Game Arena's implementation of viticulture. Um, yeah, if you know, if anyone is also playing on Board Game Arena, let me know. Especially if you've played the beta of Board Game Arena's implementation of viticulture, what you thought of it. If you encountered any bugs, I know we had one or two along the way when it was still in alpha, but I'm sure those were fixed in beta, or else, you know, that's what betas are for. So thank you so much for watching. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye.